working from home. So today, before handing over to Sarah, I'll just summarize the key areas that we're now going to talk through with you. One is what we call malware, which is short for malicious ware, and how that may end up on your computer or on your phone, and what you can do to combat that, and the threats that it may offer. We're going to talk a little bit about email scams, and obviously SMS is especially and can enlighten you into a number of different threats and approaches you'll see through email scams. Which is a mechanism, as you'll see when Sarah steps through it, of effectively infecting your computer by trying to get a response from you. So we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of sharing your device with other members of your household. Talk about Wi-Fi, passwords, and how to ensure that you've got a very strong password, and then some of the common mistakes that can again open the door in terms of a potential security risk. So I'm now going to introduce Sarah Bennell, who runs our sales operation, and she's going to step through each one of these areas, tell you a little bit more about them, and give you some advice in terms of how best to approach and deal with some of the threats and incidents that you may possibly incur whilst working from home. So good afternoon, Sarah, and I'll now hand over to you.
Hi, thanks, Chris. Afternoon, everybody. So obviously we've all heard the term malware. Obviously, it's with regards to how the hackers get onto your computer. It generally comes through via a scrupulous link, or you might click on a compromised website. 9 times out of 10, you don't even realise that it's a website that's been compromised. You may be a little bit unsure about the link, but once you've clicked on it, the hacker or the person of interest has full access to your machine. They can see all your passwords, they can see all your keystrokes, absolutely everything you do, PIN numbers on bank details, things like that. And also it will enable them access to all of your contacts, so they'll just send emails to all of your contacts, exactly the same kind of principle. And if you're working remotely, there's a good chance that that malware can also infect your company network. So move forward. Okay, so sorry about the technical glitch there, guys. Okay, so email scams, we're quite familiar with email scams. Obviously, the emails come through. It might look like a genuine email, or it may not. It's all down to human intervention. There's no amount of internet that will actually stop this email coming through. No amount of spam filters, absolutely anything. It's down to the human eye. So you've got to be aware that what you're clicking is genuine. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sarah. I don't know if you can hear me. Sarah, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just going to pause for a second. Firstly, something that we're not really covering today, but I will just sort of mention to you. Home access is under huge pressure right now, because so many of us are working from home. And are taking up huge amounts more of bandwidth than we normally would in a normal work-life pattern. And that's one of the experiences that you're going to get in a webinar such as this, where we're working from home. So it might be as best to assist with that, where we have got those blockages. What we'll do is we'll actually turn our own video streams off, and that will actually increase the bandwidth that you're actually getting. The previous webinar we didn't suffer from it too much, but in a number of other sessions of this type that I've had, certain members of the team have actually experienced that kind of interruption with it, and we're just seeing it from Sarah's internet stream at this moment. So sorry to interrupt you, Sarah, mid-flight, but I think if you turn your video off, I think we may get a better input from you.
Okay. Right, so hopefully everybody can hear me now. Okay, so as I was saying, the most common way is to I've completely lost my train of thought. So obviously, common way for email scammers is to click on the link, and mostly again, it could come through social media. So you've got the issue of people using computers at home, clicking on social media. They don't realise what they've actually clicked on is actually malicious there. So once they're in your machine, they've got full access to everything. Okay, so how we can secure everything. So spam and anti-spam and advanced threat protection. So what you can see from the diagram there is you've got the server and you've got your email there. So all of the emails that come in can go through an additional spam filter. So that will protect you against any standard spam that you're aware of, any malicious content. And then you have the ATP, which is the advanced threat protection. That again is an additional filter. Again, runs in a very similar way, but what this will actually do is it will actually protect you against the excuse me, it'll protect you against your threat protection, people pretending to be other people, and the more malicious spam that is actually being sent through the internet now. Now everything goes into a separate quarantine, so you don't actually have to worry about this hitting your inbox. You've got no problems with accessing links or any compromised emails because it never hits your inbox in the first place. Anything you're unsure about, you'll get the quarantine report, and obviously it's entirely up to you if you want to deliver that email. You'll get various information on the report that will say it's a virus, or it's spam, or it could just be genuine and they're just not sure of the content with regards to that. Okay, so moving forward, we have something called Azure Information Protect. It's AIP for short. As we'll be able to see off the diagram, you've got the full data lifecycle there. What this will actually do, it will enable you to classify any document. So everybody's working from home now, and you've got a few personal or sensitive documents on there for the business. You can label these, you can protect these, you can classify these in organisations. Therefore, you can encrypt the information to ensure that only the right people are actually accessing that. Moving forward, okay, this is how you would actually send that sensitive document. So the sensitive document there will enable you to send the email through, and you can protect it. What you will see from the diagram is protecting that documentation. So that means it will encrypt the document as it goes through to the recipient. The recipient will then have to verify their identity and confirm that they are who they say they are. So that can be done via Microsoft, your Microsoft account. Otherwise, it can be done via bank verification checks. And once it's confirmed that you are the person who's supposed to be accessing that email, it will then allow you to open the documentation. That peace of mind, that documentation cannot be edited, cannot be forwarded, cannot be sent, cannot be amended in any way whatsoever. So you've always got security at the end of the day. Okay, so moving on from that, we've got something called Intune. Now, everybody's working from home these days, and everybody's obviously accessing all the company sensitive data that normally you wouldn't take out of the office. Now, what you've actually got with this is everything is accessed via the web. Okay, so you can't stop your staff or employees accessing any of their work or any of their data. So what Intune does, it's an endpoint protection. So what you will see with this is the little diagram that explains the complexity of how it actually works. But if we move forward to the next slide, what that will actually do is that will actually break down it in more detail. So what you will see in relation to this is you've got your corporate identity, you've got all your various documents and applications. So these all need protecting at the end point. Therefore, what Intune will actually enable you to do as an employee, as an employer, it will prevent the employee accessing these documents anywhere other than on devices that you actually stipulate that they can access it on. So it will enable you to have full control over the endpoint protection of any sensitive data. Okay, so again, we're all sharing devices a lot around the home. So kids are now working from home, doing schoolwork at home. You've got various people at home. You've got people using Xboxes, PlayStations, etc. So at the end of the day, everybody is sharing devices. If you're a family of 5, which an average family size is, do you honestly have 5 computers, 5 laptops that everybody can actually access and get on individually? Answer to that is no. So you'll find that people are sharing devices. You may be working on one device, the kids may be using the same device, albeit on a separate profile, to access their social media or their games or whatever. If they don't have strong passwords, and if they innocently click on a bad link through social media or any kind of method at all, it will actually infect the whole computer, irrespective of how strong your profile is. So it's really, really, really important that in the home that you discuss security and that you have secure passwords across the board. Things like mother's maiden name and things like that, they're too easy to obtain. You need to think about things like capital letters, lowercase, symbols and numbers, something that's not familiar to yourself. Okay. And again, with regards to the Wi-Fi, everybody's using their home Wi-Fi, and you'll generally find that this isn't as secure as a standard Wi-Fi in the office. So we're all aware of public Wi-Fi's when we go to Starbucks or McDonald's or Costa. These aren't generally safe environments for you to log on to and do sensitive work such as banking, etc. Now in the house, although you've got a password, it is easy for people to jump on other people's Wi-Fi. You need to think about maybe changing your password, not keeping the standard one that the internet provider's given you. You could even be a bit crafty with the kids in the house if you've got them, want them to do chores. We all know how easy it is to jump on an internet device these days. Give them a list of chores, and then once it's done, you can give them the Wi-Fi password. So you're changing the password every day. Okay, so it's really important that you protect this connection as well as the connection to your computer. Okay, so we briefly touched on password security, and it's very easy for people to find out your passwords without trying too hard. I mean, for Facebook, for example, we put birthdays on there, we've got our kids' names, we've got where we live, where we were born, things like that. And a 5-minute conversation from anybody, even a complete stranger, 9 times out of 10 will open the door to basic passwords, mother's maiden name, where you were born, all those kind of scenarios. So it's really, really, really sensible these days and vital that we incorporate strong passwords. So like I mentioned, 12 letters, lowercase, uppercase, numbers, symbols, not the basic things like your child's date of birth, the date you were married, when you were born, things like that. So it's a really good idea to think about it. So moving forward, we've also got a secondary password security, as MFA. So excuse me, multi-factor authentication. Now, you may not understand the terminology, but you may have used it without even realizing. So if you do any online banking, credit card companies, you log on to check your account, you will find nowadays that not only are you popping your password in, but you're also popping a PIN number in. So once you've put your password in, the company will send you a PIN number to your mobile phone, and you have to put that PIN number in. That is multi-factor authentication. Now, this is very, very, very common now on Office 365 and is becoming standard across the board. So it's really important that you think about multi-factor authentication, because not only are you relying on your password in the event that somebody gets access to your machine, to your device, and they get your password, how likely have they got your mobile phone as well? Therefore, they'll attempt to log in and it will send the PIN number through to your mobile phone, and you'll know straight away that you haven't actually done this. So it doesn't matter where you are, your account is safe and protected. So simple mistakes that we do, obviously, we've got OneDrive. So again, now everybody's working from home. You may be downloading documentation to work on, which breaches your company requirements, compliance requirements, and you don't even realize it's like, oh, I'll just download that so I can send it over to my colleague in the office. You need to start thinking about maybe using file sharing solutions such as Teams, OneDrive, Dropbox. Now, Teams is very, very, very easy to use, and if we move forward to the next slide, we will show you how to send a document from your OneDrive through to your colleagues in the office. So all you're literally doing is opening Teams and you're sharing the document. You are collaborating the document through the OneDrive system. So it's and through Teams. So it's never actually downloaded onto your machine. It's never touching your device, and you've not got the worry of it being compromised on your machine. Okay, so just one extra thing. So Microsoft now, because they're fully aware of the lockdown and everybody working remotely from home, what you'll actually find is that they're offering Teams free of charge for 6 months for 365 customers. Okay, so you can have secure video, audio conferencing, just very similar to what we're doing now. You can have a business meeting remotely, all through video link, or just a general chat system, and that can be purchased free of charge through a license called E1. I just contact us if you want some more information with regards to that. So if I move over to Chris now, Chris will then be able to explain a few more bits and pieces.
Thank you very much, Sarah. We've covered a number of different areas that we can see as to be a threat to us, how to overcome those. So let's really now kind of look at how we can overcome some simple mistakes, which we've covered, and then look at the free tools that we could use to work. So obviously we are a Microsoft partner and we work very closely with Microsoft. In that respect, we are able to liaise and assist you through what is a myriad of documentation that's available from Microsoft, and actually lead you and assist you where you may need help in terms of pointing out a particular area that we may be able to help you with. That's our job. And we'd be more than happy to do that. We've been a Microsoft partner and a proactive user of Microsoft tools since 2006, so we've been at it some considerable time now. Obviously, we're a cloud provider and we provide a variety of different cloud solutions, but our primary core area of expertise is around the Microsoft stack. I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation today that if you've got any questions on what we've covered today or any other matter where we may be able to help you with regards to remote working, then of course our help desk, both our technical help desk and our sales help desk, are fully operational, and we'd be delighted to receive your call. If we can help you in any way, whether it be technically or commercially at this time, then we will be happy to engage with you in any way that we can. And next and final roundup slides coming here. Okay, so thank you for watching today. These are the key areas you can get hold of us on. Our sales line and support lines are covered here. This webinar will be published and be on our website in the next day or so. There's also a number of white papers and previous webinar recordings that again that you can get through dedicated pages that are on our website. So I hope that you found today's short webinar of interest and of help, and as always we're here and be delighted to work with you whilst we work through this interesting time, I think is perhaps the best way of putting it, and hopefully back to a much more normal and productive both business and personal environment in the future. So from everybody at SMS, please keep safe, keep well, and we look forward to talking with you and giving you further updates over the next few weeks. And at this point, I'll say goodbye. Sarah will say goodbye, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye for now.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.